this. Like symbolism. Okay, what what concept? I think. What do you guys think? What concepts are being discussed here? Like, I mean, I get love, but I feel like inside Oberon, there's something more primal going on in terms of, okay, I'm gonna get back at my wife like this.
Maybe he expects love to like bloom naturally like a flower, but it's not happening, so he's kind of frustrated.
Right?
Yeah, like he's just really frustrated because they trying to like they need to work it out as like couples are supposed to work out their relationship issues. But all they do is argue and they call out each other's faults, and they don't like try to compromise or like just like accept that they're flawed people, but they still need to work together.
Part of it just comes down to pride and like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, since of course he's like a king and stuff, right? It's yeah, he feels it's just his pride that's getting in the way of him wanting to admit that he's also a flawed human being, and that he doesn't have absolute control over everything.
Yeah, so he's just like angry and he's like, I'm perfect and you're not. And it I'm trying to like figure the opposite of like sympathetic and like accepting, because that's what he turns into the end. So I don't know how to get the other word from that.
Entitlement.
Yeah.
Entitlement.
Apathetic, unsympathetic.
Oh, apathetic.
Apathetic, yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Just pathetic. What I don't understand is if empathetic means that you can like, yeah, empathize with someone, right? Like you feel with someone. I don't know, you can like kind of feel what other people are feeling, and sympathize is like you feel with someone, right? Then what is like, so like empathetic and then there's sympathetic, and apathetic means you don't have feelings. So then why is pathetic a completely different thing?
Dang.
Will Smith
True.
on us.
One's having feelings, one's not having feelings, and the other one is just feeling something. Feeling pathetic.
One's feeling the same as people, like understanding people. One's not feeling, and the other's just being a loser.
Yeah.
Also, if it looks like I'm looking at the size, because I also have two monitors, so.
Honestly, I'm just on my phone, so.
That's funny. Okay, I've got another point. Like, I think the flower. I want to build off that idea that you guys said, like love flowering like naturally, but it's not happening. Like for us, right? Like if things aren't happening in our life, like if we don't look good enough, if we're not, sleeping, what do? We just get surgery and pills, and we look for a remedy for that. I think that, I mean, 500 years ago, Shakespeare was looking at this like, okay, he looks for a remedy that is something physical, like a flower in the field that you wouldn't think would do anything, but changes everything, like a pill. Like you're like, oh, this will change my whole. I mean, we have pills for depression, for sleeping, for cancer, for anything.
I don't think pills help cancer.
Well, isn't chemotherapy pills
I'm not
though?
a doctor.
Anyway.
Chemotherapy is like radiation.
I'm not a doctor, but I think that flower is definitely a key symbol in terms of like.
Yeah,
I like that idea because it kind of works in the real world too. Because when you look at those solutions, they aren't real solutions. Like if you just take pills for depression, you're just gonna have to get stronger and stronger doses because you aren't solving the actual problem. You're just dealing with the symptoms.
Yeah,
so like for him, he's just dealing with the fact that Tanya doesn't love him, rather than the fact that the reason they're not working together is because he refuses to like accept her and accept his flaws.
I feel like it's kind of like, I don't know, I had just a weird flashback to Cinderella and how like she was a completely different person, and then when the fairy godmother came, she changed her up, and then she was a different person. She had a chance, and yeah, it was that Disney movies have happy endings, whereas Shakespeare plays someone else.
But the thing is, like, he still fell in love with her because she was like nice, you know, because like her sisters were like ugly at heart, is what they're going for. But while she was like pretty at heart, and like now that she has the chance to go see the, he falls in love with her because she's pretty at heart.
Yeah, it was like a Disney movie, so they had to give it a happy ending. But it's kind of like, if it hadn't been for that, then it's like the only way that she had a chance was when she took that, so she kind of would have become dependent on it, right? Or
Well, even then, the prince was just like, oh, there's like this random maid lady who looks like she's dressed in rags. You try on this shoe. I want to see if you're my princess. And like, you know, because he wasn't immediately like, can't be you. You're a maid. You're in all those like rags and stuff. There's no way it could be you. But he still tries it on her.
yeah, I mean, it's not exactly the same,
Well,
but I just had a slight connection to it. That
well, I picked this play because every other play was a tragedy. And all of his Shakespeare's tragedies, when they go off the rails, they go off the rails. I don't know if you read some like the synopsises and some of those, but like King Lear, off the rails completely.
I mean, like Romeo and Juliet, like we all read that one. It's just like, wow,
Off
she
the rails.
kills herself, and then he isn't actually dead. So it's like,
and then
okay.
actually Romeo and Juliet, or do you just like the synopsis of it and watch the movie Romeo and Juliet like 5 years ago?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, remember that movie?
Romeo and Juliet. That was a moment.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, and so I guess we can close this off because we've got about, I don't know, I probably only have about 10 minutes, but I can probably hop on my phone in my car before I gotta get to work. Like, about the theme. So we've talked, we understand, like, it's kind of love. Obviously, love is a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And how, but fixing, I think we're drawing a balance between fixing it naturally and fixing it in a way that's good and proper and, like, actually fosters communication, which is good in any situation, or go take a pill. Which in this case is a flower. But I'm sure in the modern version of Midsummer Night Dreams, it would have just been like a pill. I think the example she gives us is like, Romeo and Juliet were two star-crossed lovers, but their star lost its light when fate extinguished the glow of love. However, it is clearly a constellation of bad choices made by Romeo, Juliet, and Friar Lawrence that lead to their untimely deaths.
So we could use flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
Flower blooming and yeah.
I do think this is a deeper commentary on resolving problems
Mm-hmm.
and love, but resolving problems mainly. I mean, I don't know. What was Shakespeare around? 1600s? Probably wasn't much divorce, but I mean, look at where we are now. I think divorce rates are like 30%. Yeah.
Crazy high.
Yeah. That's like really socially acceptable, and well, socially, religiously, morally wasn't acceptable, whereas now it's acceptable to do. And in many cases, if it's a toxic thing, it's actually encouraged to do, right? So there's also that. It's like, but even like now, if you look at it, in Western society, divorce rates are really high. But if you look in other countries, other areas of the world, there where divorce is discouraged, people are encouraged to work out their problems and become more tolerant of each other.
I wonder if maybe like it's divorce rates are higher because they figure marriage is a solution. Like they're just like, okay, if we get married, then we'll like feel better about it. We'll feel more at ease and together, and we won't feel like we're falling apart because we're unified. But like that just makes the problem worse because now they don't have the chance to like get out of the relationship as easily.
The problem is because in the first place, people don't know the difference between just like hormonal desires and lust and actual love anymore. So they just get into a relationship without actually like loving the person, right? They just mistake infatuation for love. And so there's that bond isn't quite there. And then after that, there's not much commitment in a society that promotes like short-term relationships and breaking up and stuff, right? There's not much commitment issues. Like there's going to be more commitment issues in the less commitment. And then after that, even if they do get married, they expect too much of the other person without like giving them some room to breathe, because obviously everyone's human, everyone makes mistakes, everyone has faults, and people are too intolerant of that. And then since once again divorce is perfectly acceptable and in many cases encouraged, they just like divorce them and leave. So it's a combination of a bunch of factors, which is strange because if you think about it, then like it's a place where like love marriages are encouraged, whereas in other places where there's prearranged like marriages, right, arranged marriages or whatever, divorce rates are lower too, because society doesn't divorce is discouraged, people and tolerance is encouraged. And
Yeah. What was the word that you said, Kat? I keep forgetting it, I swear.
Oh, the one about Oberon?
Yeah.
Entitlement.
Yeah, it's like
Entitlement.
people
That's
feel
good.
entitled to being like, you're supposed to be perfect and that's why I married you, and they don't realize that the person that they married should be entitled to their best self too. So I totally see what you're trying to say there. Like,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, everybody comes with flaws.
Yeah.
I think.
Although when it comes to lust and love, I'm pretty sure like I think I researched stuff at some point, and there was like this like 3 things that make a relationship like that type of relationship where it's like love, and it's like time commitment, and then like personal collection, and also lust. So I guess people just forget to, because there's no way they didn't get to know each other before they got married, because they probably like hung out a lot, because you can't just be like one weekend just like, you know what, you're the one. So I don't know, I guess I think it might be something else, but that's just my personal opinion.
Has anyone ever like bought a plant impulsively? I think that's very similar to like you think that like maybe buying a cactus, like you'll think it'll be easy to take care of, but it's not. It's just like,
You know, I get that the most at like Walmart is people buy cactuses and then they come back and it's dead. And they're like, can I return this?
I think that's what like this play is like leading into, but they somehow fix it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The plant's dying.
The plant's dying.
That's funny.
Yeah. I need to buy myself a plant, actually.